The US Army's future, all about robots. The US Army has a long history of using technology to fight more efficiently. From the cavalry to the tanks, the Army has always used the latest technology to dominate the battlefield. But with the increased use of technology in the 21st century, how will the Army be able to fight future battles? We will go over all the new technologies that the US Army is currently implementing and how they will change the way wars are fought. The Army is also researching autonomous vehicles or self-driving cars. These vehicles would be able to drive themselves without any human input. This would allow the Army to transport troops and equipment across long distances, without any risk to human life. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video we're going to talk about the US Army's future, all about robots. So if you want to know all about it, then keep watching this video. Robots in the Army, a short history of the US Army and its robots. Military robots have been used by the United States Army since the 1990s. The first operational military robot was the Sentry robot, which was developed in the Gulf War. Sentry robots were used to detect and destroy landmines. Since then, the use of military robots has expanded to include a wide variety of tasks such as reconnaissance, surveillance, and target acquisition. Military robots are also used to disarm explosives, transport equipment and supplies, and provide security for military bases. The US Army's plans for employing future robots. The United States Army is making plans to employ robots in the future. Officials have said that the Army is working on a plan to have a third of its ground forces composed of robotic soldiers by 2030. The idea behind the plan is to have troops who can be deployed in areas that are too dangerous for humans, such as bomb disposal or reconnaissance missions. The robots would be also used to carry heavy equipment and supplies for the troops. Critics say that the idea of relying on robots for combat is foolish, as they could easily malfunction or be hacked by the enemy. Supporters say that the robots would be able to inflict more damage on the enemy while also minimizing casualties on their side. The design of future robots, why the current robots may not be effective enough. The US Army is currently working on a new generation of robots that are designed for combat. While the current generation of robots has been effective in certain situations, several major shortcomings need to be addressed. The first problem is that the current robots are not very agile, which makes them easy to target and destroy. The second problem is that they are not very versatile and they can only be used in certain situations. The third problem is that they are very expensive, which limits their deployment to the only most important cases. The generation of robots is designed to address these shortcomings. They are more agile, more versatile, and less expensive, making them more effective in a wider range of situations. Some are even designed to interact safely with humans. This new generation of robots is sure to play a major role in the future of manufacturing and other industrial applications. Increasing the efficiency of the Army. How could robots help the Army? The use of robots in the Army could help to increase the efficiency of the Army in several ways. For example, they could be used in place of soldiers on the front line, as they would be less likely to be injured or killed. They could also be used to carry out tasks such as reconnaissance or bomb disposal, which would free up soldiers for other tasks. The implications for the Army's future. The Army is looking to restructure and change its tactics for the future. This has a lot of implications for the Army and for the people who rely on it. Some of the potential changes that the Army is looking into include: Number 1, a smaller Army that is more specialized. Number 2, the use of more robots and technology in place of soldiers. Number 3, lastly, is changes in how training is done. These changes could mean big things for the future of the Army and for the people who rely on it. With the changes, the Army will now have more opportunities to grow, modernize, and better serve our country. Let's look into this and converse. How will this change affect the Army's ability to recruit and retain soldiers? The Army will now be able to offer more pay and benefits to soldiers, which should help with recruitment and retention. Additionally, the changes make it easier for soldiers to transfer between units, which should also improve retention rates. What does the future hold for the Army? The Army is constantly changing to meet the needs of the times. To maintain its status as a preeminent fighting force, the Army has had to adapt and embrace new technologies. Here are some of the ways the Army is preparing for the future. Number 1, the Army is using drones and other robotic technologies to reduce the number of soldiers needed on the battlefield. Number 2, the Army is also working on autonomous vehicles that can be used for a variety of purposes, including transporting troops and supplies. Number 3, the Army is investing in new weapons and armor that will be more effective against modern threats. Number 4, the Army is also working on new technologies to improve situational awareness and communication in battlefield. Other consideration for the future of the US Army. Number 1, the increasing role of technology in the US Army. The US Army has always been at the forefront of adopting new technology. With the increasing role of technology in warfare, the Army will need to continue to adapt and embrace new technologies to maintain its edge. This will include technologies like artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, and drones. Number 2, the importance of cyber warfare. Cyber warfare is becoming an increasingly important aspect of modern warfare. As such, the US Army will need to place a greater emphasis on cybersecurity and training its soldiers in cyber warfare tactics. Number 3, the need to counter Russian and Chinese militarism. Russian and Chinese militarism is a growing threat to global security. As such, the US Army will need to increase its capabilities to counter these threats. Number 4, the need for more effective training methods. The US Army needs to find new and more effective ways of training its troops. This includes using virtual reality simulations and other advanced technologies. The challenges of incorporating robots into the Army. Number 1, the high cost of robots and their maintenance. Number 2, the need for specialized training to operate and maintain robots. Number 3, the limited number of robots that are available and their restricted range of applications. Number 4, the potential for robots to be used for harm instead of good, as demonstrated by the use of military drones in conflict zones. The changing role of the US Army. The US Army is an ever-changing institution adapting to the needs of the country. In times of conflict, the Army has been called on to fight on the front lines. In times of peace, the Army has taken on a different role, working to build relationships with other countries and safeguard American interests abroad. The Army has changed a great deal over the years and will continue to change to meet the needs of the country. The role of the Army in the future is still being determined, but one thing is for sure: the Army will always be there to protect the nation and its people. The United States Army is preparing for the future by creating a Futures Directorate. The Directorate will comprise soldiers and civilians who will explore emerging technologies and how they could potentially be used by the Army in the future. This new directorate was created due to the realization that many of the technologies that were once futuristic are now becoming a reality, such as laser weapons and artificial intelligence. The goal of the future directorates is to stay ahead of the curve and be prepared for any challenge that may come on their way. And with that, our video has come to a close. In the comment section below, let us know what you think about the video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We'll be back with more, but until next time, take care all. Thanks for taking the time to watch.